Hey friends, before you go on that green card, things are starting to get really interesting with U.S. immigration. Can Donald Trump give you a green card? Hey guys, before you file for your spouse, All right. Hey guys, come on in. Join me live today. We're going to have a Saturday workshop. We're going to talk about what you should do if ICE stops you. So come on in. It's great to be with you. Type in freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. And certainly let me know where you're joining from today. If you're watching on Facebook, share this session with your feed because I'm going to be speaking about some very, very important things today. So come on in, pull up a chair, let's get started. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law, where we believe that freedom is now. Okay, and we rest and we stand on the side of freedom. And it's Saturday, and I thought yesterday, oh my God, I've got to talk with you about ways that you could protect yourself from deportation. And it really starts with, well, what should you do in the unlikely event that you encounter ICE? Okay. And I have terrific material that I'm going to go through with you today. Very practical tips on what you should do and what you should not do. So yesterday I thought about this topic and I said, I have to drop everything that I had planned for today and just go live and do this with you. So if you find this content valuable, certainly subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notice of my videos each week. Type in freedom now. That's what we're ringing. That's the bell. That's our motto. That's our mission. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. I see that Kingston, Jamaica is in the house, and I saw also on other forums here that California is here. California is also joining on McBean Immigration TV. Our contact information, guys, is scrolling below, 914-898-9488. That's the best way of reaching us. And also you could go to McBeanLaw.com and put in a request to meet with us. Now let's talk about knowing your rights. What should you do? And I'm pulling this directly from the ACLU of Virginia. They did a terrific summary, and I'm going to go through all of these points. What should you do if you have the unlikely event of encountering ICE? Well, first of all, if you're not a U.S. citizen, just know that this is for you. All right? If you're a green card holder, this is for you. Don't think just because you have a green card, you're in the clear. All right. The only folks who are in the clear are those who are U.S. citizens. So if you're not a U.S. citizen and you're stopped or questioned by the police or ICE, here are some very practical things that you need to do. Number one, as you know, remain silent, remain calm. And if they want to search you, you say no. You have the right to say no. I decline. You've got to get that no on the record. Okay. You've got to get that no on the record, but just know that even if after you've said no, they can still and most likely will search you, but just get your no on the record. So you say no, and you never give them any false document. Don't pull out that ID that you have in another name and say, oh, here it is. I'm Jane Doe. No. All right. Don't ever show them any fault. And these are just some big picture do's and don'ts before we drill down into more practical scenarios. So never show any false document. And guys, never, ever lie about being a U.S. citizen. That's like the kiss of death. Don't do it, right? Don't ever say, oh, I'm a U.S. citizen. And it could be so easy to just freeze up and all of a sudden you're like, your heart is pounding, right? And the first thing that comes to your mind is, I've got to escape from this scenario. I've got to get out. And my way out is by saying, oh, I'm a U.S. citizen. Don't do it. If you feel that thought, in your mind coming up, don't say anything. Just remember what that lady on YouTube has been telling you. Remain silent, stay silent, or just say, no, don't search me. That's it. Don't say anything else. Now, you do not have to answer questions about your immigration status. Yes, they're going to ask you, where are you from? Are you from around here? Were you born here? They will ask those questions. You do not have to tell them where you're from, what country you're from, or if you have citizenship or papers here in the United States. You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer where you were born, and you do not have to answer how did you enter into the United States. Type in freedom now, guys. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Thank you so much for all of you who are joining today on YouTube. Very exciting. You do not have to tell them any of those things, okay? Now, let's talk about what you should do if you're at home. It's Saturday and like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What would you be doing on a Saturday at home, right? Maybe you're making brunch. Maybe you're cleaning your house. If you're like, us Caribbean folks, Saturday is the day to clean the house. You're there cleaning your house, or maybe you're sleeping. It's in the morning and they come to your home. What should you do? Now, this is the scenario involving either ICE or the police. Number 1, stay calm. Okay. Number 2, do not open the door. You don't have to open the door. Number 3, don't just say, oh, here you are, come on in. Don't invite them in. Guys, again, I'm taking this material directly from the ACLU of Virginia. That's what I'm reading from here. This is it. I didn't prepare anything original. It's already been done. All right. So don't invite them in. Now, if they say, well, we have a warrant. Well, okay, fine and dandy, look through your little peephole if you have a little peephole or the window, and you're looking to see if it's a judicial warrant. It's not going to be that easy. Honestly, it's not going to be that easy to tell the difference, especially if they're like, oh, the paper is like all the way over here, right? And you're like, look, it's hard. It's practically speaking, it's hard, but try your best. And if you cannot see and confirm that it is a judicial warrant, just ask them to just slide it under your door. So they slide it under your door and you're looking for a signature line on that paper that was signed by either a judge, honorable HON, or magistrate. That's what you're looking for. Okay, if it was signed by someone at ICE, then it is not, you have no obligation to open that door. They don't have permission to come in. Now, if they do come in, if it's a warrant that you should, that's a good warrant for you to open your door, well, they have to come in. You've got to let them in, and you have the right to remain silent. Do not lie, okay, about any detail, about anything. If they're asking questions about someone else, do not lie about his or her whereabouts. Why not? Go watch my video on harboring. Okay, harboring an illegal alien is a federal offense, and it's not something that they bring very frequently against a whole lot of people. No, but in this day and age, I think they're going to be motivated to see if they can get more people under the harboring law, federal law. So watch my video. Once this is published on YouTube, we will go ahead and pin the YouTube video on harboring illegal aliens so that you could go and watch that and learn about what harboring really is. So don't lie about anything. And again, don't claim to be a U.S. citizen to get out of that unfortunate situation. And again, do not give them any false documents. Specifically, do not give them a false driver's license, a false social security card, a false green card. They're out there. They're circulating. People are carrying these documents. Don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. All right. Now, I do not have a moderator today on McBean Immigration TV because it's Saturday and, one other person is working right now, and that's it on my team. So I'm not moderating. Guys, help me out if you see folks bullying and saying really bad things about other people or immigrants. Just help me out there. All right. You won't be able to ban, unfortunately, but just jump in and do what you usually do. Now, what happens if you're in the car, if you're driving? Let's go into the car and you're pulled over and you're either a passenger in the car or you're the driver. What should you do? Well, first of all, if you're the driver, don't take off. Right? Don't just, like, oh, I've got to have like the speed chase thing. No, don't flee. Don't do that. Just safely pull over immediately. Don't even try to resist. Pull over quickly and safely. Turn your car off, turn the engine off, turn on the internal light in your car so that they could see you and see everything that's happening inside your car, particularly if it's at night. You don't want to give the appearance that you're up to something or you have a weapon or something, because you could lose your life easily, just like that. Now, you turn on that internal light and you roll down that window and you appear cooperative. Then if it's police and they're asking you for a driver's license, you're going to have to present your driver's license, your registration, and proof of insurance, okay? And if you do not have any of these documents, do not give them anything false, okay? Because you know, right? Don't do it. You're going to be hearing that so frequently in this one. Don't give false documents, because what happens is it makes your immigration lawyer's job even harder to defend you if you go ahead and you claim to be a U.S. citizen or you present that false Social Security card or false green card. Just don't give them any false documents, all right? Then the next thing that you can do, what you should not do is do not give them permission to search your car, right? Although you're appearing like you're cooperating, and you should cooperate with law enforcement. Do not resist law enforcement, guys. You're going to cooperate, but you don't have to say, yes, go search my trunk. Yes, come on in and look through my glove compartment. You don't have to say yes to that, any of those activities, okay? And if they begin to just start searching your car, if they do it, just say, no, I don't consent to this. No, I don't agree with what you're doing. No, do not, I just say no, get it on the record, but certainly do not resist. Okay, now let's keep going. They may ask you questions about your immigration status while you're in your car. Again, you do not have to answer any questions about whether you have a green card or not. If it's the police that is trying to apprehend you, you could certainly ask for their name and their badge number, and you could write that information down. But again, be very careful about your movements in the car. You can't just suddenly just say, I'm going to go into that glove compartment and pull out my pen and begin writing down the badge number, because if you are unfortunately with a police officer who's highly motivated to take further action, you could lose your life just like that. So the smart thing to do would be to say, officer, I'm going to grab my pen because I need to write down your name and badge number. And I'm going to get my pen. That's what I'm doing right now. Say it, right? So that the officer doesn't think that you're reaching in to get a gun or something like that, because that's how people lose their lives, unfortunately, in the United States when they're stopped by the police. Now, if it's ICE, however, and not the police, and they ask for your green card or any proof of your status, if you have it, certainly show it to the officer if it's true, if it's real, if it's your document. You can absolutely show them that green card and say, oh, I'm a green card holder. And then that's the end of it as far as ICE is concerned. They will just, leave you alone from that point on. Green card holders, this is not on the ACLU's list, but I'm just going to chime in and say this, add this part. If you're a green card holder, you should have your green card with you at all times. Now is really the time where you can't forget about that little rule. Carry your green card with you. Keep a copy of it in a very safe place at home in the event you lose it or something like that. But always have your green card with you. Now, if you are in the process of of an immigrant, if you're involved in, getting your status straightened out, if you have a case that you filed with USCIS and something is going on for you, have a copy of your receipts, notice with you showing that, oh, I have a pending immigration case. I'm in the process of getting my status straightened out. These are just things to carry on you, just to keep with you, okay? But again, you do not have to tell the ICE officer about your immigration status and answer any of these questions, not unless you're a green card and you have a green card holder and you have that green card with you. And I'm getting ready to wrap up very soon. Okay, now what happens if you're at work? If you're at work, and I have a short video about this scenario too, what happens at the work site. But if you're at work and ICE shows up at your workplace, stay calm. Don't run. Literally, stay calm. Do not run is the second bullet here, right? Do not run. Try to go to a private area at work. Why? Because it matters. It matters if you're in a public part of your job, your workplace, versus a private. If you're in the break room in a private space, well, they don't have permission to go back there, okay? But if you're in the public part of your job, let's say you work at a restaurant, this is always the illustration that I give, and you're right there in that dine-in area, so to speak, well, that it's public. So try to go into a private spot. And if, because ICE will need a warrant, right? A warrant from the judge that, that says that they should be there to apprehend you, right? To pick you up, or they need your boss's permission. Your employer can say, I don't want you here. I don't consent to you being here, right? But if there is a judicial warrant, the employer must comply with that warrant. The employer can absolutely say, you cannot go back there. That's private workspace. No, you cannot go back there. It is not open to the public. All right. Like if you work at a restaurant and you're in the kitchen, that's also considered a part of the it's also considered not open to the public, okay, in the kitchen. Remain silent, of course. You do not have to give ICE your ID. You do not have to give them any work authorization card. You do not have to give them any papers. Again, only if you're a green card holder and you have your green card with you, you could say, here's my green card. Keep in mind that any information that you give to them can be used against you, Any information that you give them can be used against you. So please always keep that in mind. So don't give them anything. Now, what should you do if you are arrested? All right. Again, remain calm, stay silent. Do not discuss your immigration status with anyone but your lawyer. Do not sign anything. Be careful if they arrest you and you go down there and they try to trick you and say things to you like, we could release you immediately if you just sign this thing, right? Please do not sign anything until you've spoken with a lawyer. Do not sign anything that you do not understand. And if you need an interpreter because you don't understand what's being said or what's going on, you can ask for an interpreter. All right. Thank you guys on YouTube. Give me some thumbs up if you're enjoying this live session. Now, if you're arrested by the police, you have the right to have a lawyer help you with your case, even if you cannot afford one. Again, this is if you're arrested by the police. When you're arrested by the police, that's a criminal process, criminal proceedings, and you have certain rights under the Constitution to have a lawyer represent you if you're arrested by the police. Not so if you're arrested by ICE. If you're arrested by ICE, you do not have the right to a lawyer, a free lawyer, or a lawyer that's appointed to you. You do not have that right, but you do have the right to hire your own private attorney to help you, to represent you in this matter, okay? Now, going back to being arrested by the police, you have the right to have a phone call. And remember that your phone calls are monitored and recorded unless you're speaking to a lawyer. So if you call home and you call your wife or you call your mom and you start saying all sorts of things, just know that the call is being monitored. But if you're speaking with your lawyer, those calls are not supposed to be monitored. So if you're arrested by ICE, this is the final section before we go. If you're arrested by ICE, again, you have the right to hire your own private lawyer. Try to memorize your lawyer's phone number so that you could call the lawyer immediately, or you could carry the card with you at all times. I also like to add that you should, someone who you trust, like a family member, should also know who your lawyer is and how to get in touch with that lawyer. If you have a card, an extra card at home, make sure that your spouse knows exactly where to find that contact information, or at a minimum, the name of your attorney, and be able to Google that attorney's firm and contact the attorney. All right. Thank you for those hearts and all of those other stuff that you guys are doing on McBean Immigration TV. I appreciate that. Let's see. Now, you have the right also to contact your country's consulate to tell them that you've been detained. And then the last thing that the ACLU says here is give your immigration number or your A number. It's called your A number or alien number. It's a 9-digit number. Give it to a family member so that they could find you. Okay, so that they could find you in the event that you're detained. Now, I'm going off script here from my own brain, going off script to say some other things. Now, if you're picked up and you're detained, there are some people who ICE has to under our law by Congress, they must keep you. It's called mandatory detention. And so it's typically for individuals it typically applies to individuals who have committed very serious crimes. No sympathy, right? You're saying, well, so what? That no sympathy for them. But you should understand that if you're under mandatory detention, you cannot come out, all right? They won't release you on bond. You're going to have to go through your entire immigration court process while detained. And it's going to be virtual with WebEx, through WebEx with the judge. But you have a right to have your lawyer privately hired by you represent you while you're being detained. For some other people now who are not subject to mandatory detention because they're just not subject to that, they can put in a request to be bonded out so that they could go through their immigration court process while at home and, going to court, right? And free, going back to work, taking care of the children and living your life while you're in removal. So most people are in that circumstance. Then there's another subset of individuals who can be deported immediately once picked up. And these are people who already have a removal order, and ICE was specifically targeting those individuals. They could put you on a plane immediately or send you back right away if you have that removal order. So they will treat individuals a certain way. It depends on what's on their immigration record. But for the most part, most people are able to just go back home. Now, for some people, they will be there for some months, right? Under this upcoming Trump administration, most likely they're not just going to just, release you immediately if you're not subject to mandatory detention. They could keep you there for some months. And if that happens, absolutely work with a lawyer to try to get you out of detention so that you can continue your immigration process while at home. All right. So the number one thing that I want you to take away from today's Saturday virtual workshop is the fact that you have rights under the Constitution, under the Fourth Amendment. Remain silent, remain calm. And of course, never lie about being a U.S. citizen, and do not provide false documents to the government. And then, of course, lawyer up, of course, which is so key if you're ever detained. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up now, and I'm going to answer a few questions that folks have on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube before we go today. All right. Thank you. And then this video is going to be on McBean Immigration TV for you guys to watch again and send it on to other folks. Thank you, guys. Let's see if there are a few questions. I will take it real quickly before I go. We're already at 25 minutes, and I'm going to end this momentarily. Can someone have two lawyers? Yes. It depends. You could have a criminal defense lawyer working for you. You could have an immigration lawyer working for you at the same time. If it's an immigration matter and you would like to have two lawyers, well, if you were speaking to me in a consultation, I would want to find out whether that makes sense or not. What is that other lawyer doing, and what can we do? But sometimes, yes, it's possible to have two lawyers working on your case at the same time. Someone says, I need your number. It's scrolling. You might not be able to see it on this, but it's also in our bio. It's 914-898. Hold on a second, because 914-898-9488. Okay. Now, just also understand, someone is asking a question about there's no such thing as mass deportation. Damien is mentioning here mass deportation. Our infrastructure cannot support mass deportation. What you guys will be hearing about going forward are raids that's going to be taking place in various parts of our country. Raids, okay? That ICE has the right to perform their raids. Sometimes they explain it to the public and say, hey, yes, we did perform a raid and such and such yesterday, and these are the numbers of individuals we've apprehended. They're just carrying out their law enforcement duties. Can you be my lawyer? Maybe. It depends. You can get on our get a meeting with me or one of my colleagues, and we'll see whether we could help you with your immigration case. Let's see. Do people with DACA, should they worry? Oscar is asking. Oscar, I'm waiting for Biden I'm waiting for an announcement to see whether Biden is going to really, follow through with some of the last ditch efforts with respect to DACA that Senate Democrats have been pushing him to do. I don't think you should be worried right now. I don't think that Trump has been saying different things about DACA. He tried so aggressively to get rid of it during his first term. And then a few weeks ago, he said that he'd like to help dreamers to stay in the country. He'd like to work with Democrats on this. So I think we're going to have to wait and see what they're going to do, what position they're really going to take. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. My husband wasn't able to make his appointment. What can happen? He should contact the office again and see whether he could book another meeting with us, or he could ask to speak with the managing attorney and work something out as far as the appointment and get another one scheduled or booked. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's see. On Monday, I'll be live again on McBean Immigration TV on YouTube, answering immigration questions, whatever immigration questions you have. So join me 1 o'clock on Monday on McBean Immigration TV for those questions. Today, it's really about what you should do and what you should not do if you're arrested or stopped by ICE or even the police. Okay, thank you. What about people who go for an interview for a green card after January 20th? So going to an interview for an immigration benefit can seem a little intimidating. It will be intimidating after January 20th. Some people, it depends on what's on their immigration record. Some people could be apprehended, detained there, but most others will not be. absolutely speak with a lawyer. Run your case through a credible lawyer who really looked at your background, who you were truthful about all of your entries and exits, and to and from the United States, your criminal record if you have one. Absolutely make sure all of those things are clear, so that if you go on an interview for the green card, even through your spouse, that you're protected, that you will not be detained at your interview. Don't worry about being detained if you have nothing on your record that could cause immigration to be concerned. All right, thank you. U.S. citizen mom can file for adult son. Absolutely. Yes. What is my rate? So my consultation fee, someone is asking on TikTok, is $300. It's $250 for my other colleagues. Let's see, if ICE stops you, you should comply. Absolutely. We talked about that. If you're here without authorization. Okay, so I'm not going to say that part. So, by the way, you guys heard me talk about the fact that you must absolutely cooperate with law enforcement, but you do have certain rights to say, no, I don't want you to search my car. I don't want you to search me. You have a right not to answer questions about your immigration status. They cannot force you to say something about your status. Thank you. For those someone is asking, what if you're under VAWA? Then you're going through your process. You should be fine. I don't know what else is on your record. Okay. Don't know what else is on your record. All right. Thank you, guys. Today is Saturday. Someone says, thank you for doing this. I appreciate absolutely. This will be made available also on Instagram, the replay, like how I always do it. Okay. I feel so energized. When I saw this script, I said, oh, I've got to tell you guys, go through all of this so that you could know your rights. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm doing this. I'm tippy-toeing to see what the comments are on TikTok, because my phone is positioned in a weird way on TikTok, so I can't see all of your questions. Okay, so bear with me on TikTok. If TikTok goes, TikTok might be going away. Very strong possibility. You guys should follow me on McBean Immigration TV on YouTube if you want to continue this relationship, or on Instagram if you'd like to continue this relationship. But I will not be making any content for TikTok after the decision comes out. Okay, so and if there's another forum that I will be on, I will share that information. But for now, go on Instagram if you choose to do that. Okay, let's see. What else do you guys have for me before we go today? Let's see. For those who are in immigration court, what could happen if they get stopped? So if you're in immigration court, you're in active proceedings, really you're not the person that they're really targeting right now. But you have a right, due process, to continue your court process if you're in court. And eventually what happens is this: when ICE takes an individual down and they try to figure out, they'll fingerprint you. They're going to, try to figure out certain things about your status. Once they realize that you're going through a process like you're in immigration court right now, well, you're not the type of person that they're really going to want to keep for a long time, not unless you have a serious criminal record, okay? And they can detain you and allow you to finish your court process while detained. And when I say detained, guys, this is jail. This is you're not free to leave. It's not wonderful. It's awful. So that's what I mean by detention. It's not anything that's amazing, right? Let's keep going. Again, watch my video on harboring so that you understand that it's very important that you do not lie to them if they were to show up at your home. Okay. If they are deporting people now in California, picking people up on their way to work, will this happen everywhere? Addison is asking. So I forgot that I can do this thing. Addison, good to see you. I forgot. Yeah. Anyway, so will it happen everywhere? Well, like I said earlier, we're going to be hearing about more raids. We heard about the raids during the first term. They're going to be doing that work. So I expect to hear I expect to hear about it all over the country. Okay, but just keep in mind that they are having a staffing problem. There aren't enough ICE agents. Even in Manhattan, their budget, Biden cut their budget, I think by 30%. I think that's what I heard. So they don't have a whole lot of people right now. Yes, they are recruiting. Yes, Trump wants to use the military to assist because they don't have enough people. All right. Let's see. What other questions do you guys have for me here? Do you know if federal inmates that have a final deportation order going to be deported before the sentencing is over? Elver is asking. So if you're in when you say federal inmates, I mean, I'm just thinking about someone who's already in prison right now, right? So individuals who are in prison, typically the way they do it is this, and this is federal, so this is a very serious crime, felony. So normally at the end of your time, your sentence, however long you've served, they then immediately detain you on the immigration side of things and then quickly deport you. It's usually a very swift process. Can ICE detain and deport individuals who have a cancellation of removal case on appeal? And if so, is bail or is bond getting bonded out an option? So ICE can detain, right? Whether that they can deport, that's another thing. They will not be able to just deport you as in the middle of your due process, and that whatever that process is. Again, though, if an individual, have a previous deportation order, you came into the United States after that, and this and that. Those are the types of facts that really make it harder to keep you here. Very hard for the attorney to make an argument for you under those types of circumstances. But generally speaking, if you're going through an appeal process, and we have a lot of cases like that because we have been doing a lot of appeals as of late, obviously, and we will be doing a lot more appeals, BIA appeals, immigration court appeals. We'll be doing a lot, motions to reopen and all of those kinds of things in the days ahead. Generally, those types of process will protect you to continue going all the way up until, if you choose to, the U.S. Supreme Court, if yours is a case that should go all the way up like that. Bond is usually an option for a lot of people, particularly those who aren't subject to mandatory detention. Okay, let's see. What other questions do you have for me? You guys have some great questions today. Thank you so much for being here with me on this Saturday afternoon. Let's see. If you're here and you have not started anything yet, what should you do now? Joy is asking. So Joy, if you're here, you have nothing that you've started. The question, I would say, start by doing some research, basic things like how are people eligible for a green card, and see whether you could line yourself up, your facts up with what those blogs. You could read our blogs. We have a lot of blogs on McBean Law's website. Watch some of my videos. Watch my playlist on I think it's called Overstay Visa Option is the playlist on YouTube right here. Start learning some things. Go back 3 years into my content. Start there about pathways and all of that to a green card. And if you have any potential option for a green card, meet with an immigration lawyer next, okay? Meet with someone to talk about that. Contact us after you've done a little more research, okay? Is there a way to get a printout of the paper? Karen is asking. This paper, Karen, this is free. This is on, what I'll do is I will, on YouTube, I'll add the link. This is not even to our own website, which is how we usually do it. I'm just going to add the direct link to this ACLU PDF, okay, that Brianna on my team found for me yesterday. We'll just do it that way. So once this, give us, a day or two, we'll get you this link on YouTube in the description so that you could download it for yourself, okay? There's a problem here with, I don't know what's going on here. It looks like there's a problem with TikTok, but I'm going to keep going. Let's see. TikTok, are you there? Pause for a moment. If you're there, just give me some, double tap the screen, and give me some hearts if TikTok is still on, okay? Let's see, double tap the screen. And if I'm not there, obviously go over to YouTube. Okay, what about people who are going through the asylum process? If you're going through this, TikTok is back. Okay, great. If you're going through the asylum process, what you should know is that you have a right to allow your case to go all the way until the end for for a judge, to make a decision on your case. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good question. Good question. Can my friend hire you as their lawyer if they get detained by ICE? This is very tricky. What I've been telling people during consultations is that it's always easier and better to have a local lawyer, local boots on the ground who could go to see you, right? To go to that detention center and have you sign paperwork and speak to you directly. So I always tell our out-of-state client folks who meet with us that if you're ever detained, it is better to have a local lawyer on the ground to handle your getting you out of detention. We typically don't work with detainees. That's just not our area of expertise. We more so help individuals who need their immigration case in court reopened or litigated in court, actively in court. Those are the ways that we're most helpful to folks, but not on the detention side, okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What about sanctuary cities like New York? So, Claudia, sanctuary cities like New York is fighting right now with the mayor. Mayor Adams would like to help work with ICE to inform ICE about dangerous criminals who come through New York City jails. That's what they've limited that relationship to. People who commit violent crimes, they'd like to hold on to them and inform ICE so that ICE can apprehend them. City Council, on the other hand, is incredibly liberal and progressive on that area, and they don't want to help, and they don't want that line of communication to open up with ICE at all. So Adams is looking at what can he do on an executive order level. So here in New York, you will be hearing about law enforcement raids too. Why? Because the locals cannot stop the feds. Understand that. Locals cannot stop federal law enforcement activities. They cannot. And if they try to do so, they can get into very big trouble on the criminal side. Okay, and so these local officials are backtracking now as the Trump team is reminding them of their limitations, and no one wants to be in handcuffs. No one. I don't know which politician on the local level is willing to put their freedom on the line because of a sanctuary policy or position. It just doesn't make sense. They won't. I don't think that they'll do that. Feds have the right to do what they're going to be doing. But you've got to get smart about what we've just talked about so that you could protect yourself, okay? Let's keep going. This is our America, someone has said here. Yes, it's our America. It's all of us who helped to build this country. By doing the various work that we all have been doing, okay? Are they going to be in New York? Yes, I do think that Manhattan will be doing some raids eventually once things get going. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so this is a related question from this person. The question is, do you think we're going to see more ICE raids in sanctuary cities since most undocumented immigrants may try to go and live in a friendly sanctuary city? So yes, I do think that there will be more raids in those sanctuary cities. The government I think they want to make a point that sanctuary doesn't mean anything. And I've just lost Instagram. My phone died, so Instagram is gone. I I don't like to lose it that way. Yes, you will see more ICE raids in sanctuary cities. Okay, let's keep going. Time flies so quickly. I thought I would have enough juice on my other phone there with Instagram. Let's see. Let's keep going. Thank you. Okay, someone is asking, is there any danger to individuals who are going through a green card process, particularly those in the F2A category, the spouse of a green card holder? So you're going through your immigration process. Keep that process going. You should be fine, provided that you don't have a serious criminal record or a removal order. But even so, you should still be fine. Thank you, guys. Let's see if there's a question up here that I could answer. What about airplane flying? Is it safe to fly? Someone on TikTok just asked. Right now, today, yes, it is safe and okay to travel around the United States. If TSA gets different instructions from the Trump team once they take office, once the policies change, then I'll report out to you guys what those new policies are, okay? But right now, it's fine to travel around the country. Let's see. Let's keep going. Can a denied VAWA result in deportation? Jay is asking. So if your VAWA case or any immigration case is denied, then certainly work with a lawyer to find out what your options are, whether you could refile your case or not, or appeal the decision. It's so the whole in danger part, again, it depends. Do you have a criminal record? If so, what's on that criminal record? Do you have a removal order? If so, do you have anything going right now to try to reopen that removal case? Those are the two questions, I think, or four questions, I think, that you need to ask yourself with guidance, through guidance of a lawyer. Someone says that our phone number is on McBean. It's on YouTube in the description. It's on in every video that we send out. It's scrolling right now on the screen, 914-898-9488. I don't have anyone on the phones today, I don't think. So contact us on Monday morning, or you can go on our website and put in a request for a call back, okay, under Contact Us page. Thank you, guys. Guys, I'm going to jump off right now. I don't like these YouTube live sessions to be too long. So just watch the video. Thank you guys for being with me today. Know your rights. Protect yourself in the event that ICE stops you or police stops you. Know these rights. I will put the link to this excellent, easy to read PDF that the ACLU out of Virginia had put together some time ago. Read this, have this with you, carry it with you in your purse. Remind yourself of these basic things. Do not ever claim to be a U.S. citizen. Do not lie about who you are. Do not consent to being searched and all of that. Stay silent and remain calm. Never, ever resist law enforcement. Cooperate with them and know who your lawyer is and memorize that phone number or carry that card with you and have a family member know who that lawyer is too. Also, guys, on the other side of things, with respect to, before we go, with respect to the topic around children and schools, I'm deeply thinking about it and working on something for you. I'm going to share some thoughts on that and some tips on that. But if you have soon, I'll do that for you. It's in the works. But if you have children and you're worrying about disappearing one day and you have your child to pick up at school, have a backup plan, have a trusted adult ready to go who can pick up your children, take care of your kids for you in the unlikely event that you're ever detained by ICE. Have that family plan ready to go. But I'll share a lot more thoughts on this issue about schools and such very, very soon with you over the next coming days. Thanks so much for being with me. I appreciate your support. Subscribe to this channel again before you go and hit that notification bell so that you guys will be the first to get notice of these videos each week. I will see you on Monday at 1:00 p.m. to Eastern New York time to go through your immigration questions. Guys, follow me on Instagram, be in my stories, sing with me in my kitchen. I worship a lot in my kitchen while I'm cooking. Hang out with me on Instagram in my stories. See you guys soon and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.